How do I keep my energy going? Look, I think the big things early on and ongoingly have been paying attention to my humanity. Yeah, I think it's been quite helpful for me to realise that I didn't just need God. You know, you get that kind of super spirituality where all I need is God, and you know that my life will be fine if I just keep close to Him and it'll all work out. We do need food, and interestingly, in the garden too, it wasn't good that man was alone. Adam had unfettered access to God, and God says that's not good. You need someone else. So I find those things interesting, which means that you need more than just a spiritual walk and deep, rich growth with the things of Christ. They are fundamental and critical. So all the classic habits of Bible reading, prayer have been important to me. But other things have been important as well through the journey. And I think particularly early on in church planting where everything's new, I've said this often, but there's a particular kind of stress that comes when things are new and your livelihood, your life depends on this church actually working. You've got the whole pressure around that's different from just normal ministry. In those contexts, I worked hard to take charge of my diary. So I was very intentional about managing the way my week worked, allocating times for various activities, diarising them, and working to kind of keep a pattern to my week. So the week routine was important. In that week routine, I worked hard to make sure I had good exercise, extended times of Bible reflection and theological reading. One of the most helpful things for me was every Wednesday morning for years, I would go through till midday with a pattern of working on Greek, doing some theological reading, working through Calvin's Institutes again. And so I'd just keep that pattern going for years. And because I knew my week was planned so that I was hitting everything else, I could relax and enjoy that. And it was a really refreshing time. It was helpful. The other thing that happened too was Kathy was good for me. She every now and then she'd say, once or twice a year, she'd say, you need to get away. Because when you're church planning, especially for most of us, you're church planning in the context of young kids. And so this whole new church plant's happening. Your family's expanding with all that early stage of intense work with kids and so on. And your wife is stretched and it's all very, very full on. And Kathy was sufficiently insightful enough for me to know that I needed to get away from crowds. And so she'd send me off for 2 days. And it was interesting, just 2 days away on my own, Bible, book, notebook, was a huge shot in the arm. And so just on occasion, maybe once or twice a year I'd do that thing.
I'm thinking about how crucial Kathy is. She keeps coming up in the conversation. Is your means of keeping yourself available and energised for the work also dependent on somebody else helping you do that? So, like, you've got to be in partnership. Kathy is going to have a mind for you being healthy and energised as well.
Yeah, hugely. Your wife, God intends to be a helper, suitable. Someone who can be alongside you in the work, and partly being alongside is being someone who knows you, who can actually speak into your life in a very personal way that others can't. So yeah, absolutely. And cultivating that kind of relationship. I know of some guys who, each week they'd have an hour and a half with their wife, planning their week, working out their diary, sorting through things. Kathy and I never managed that, but we'd have those conversations that were helpful.
It also sounds too like you've discovered the power of saying no. So you sort of sorted your diary. You said you got control of your diary. With so much pressure to achieve things in the first year of church planning, how did you find the strength to say no to things that just seem so urgent?
Yeah, good question. You've got to be crystal clear on what outcomes you're actually after and what things you need to be doing to achieve those outcomes so that you can proactively put in your diary the things that need to have occur, what needs to happen. If you proactively put those things in your diary, then you can identify where there's freedom to do the spontaneous response to need thing, but also when you can say, look, my diary's full, I can't fit that in now. If you work out your priorities, then you can diarise well and you can know what to say yes and no to.